It's the first evening. The carrier box is sitting on your kitchen table, and it just went quiet. 10 minutes ago, there was scratching inside, a little scrabble of claws against cardboard, and now, nothing. You lean down close, and you can hear one thing, a small, fast breathing. That's it. And you're standing there with a brand new cage across the room, a bag of seed, a little mirror the store told you he'd love, and you suddenly realize you have no idea what you're supposed to do next. Do you open the box? Do you leave him alone? Do you talk to him? You bought this bird because you wanted something that would sit on your shoulder and love you back. And right now he's a silent little heart hammering inside a box, and the thought creeps in. What if I already scared him? What if the first thing he ever learns about me is fear? I want you to hear me clearly. Nothing that happens this week is going to be your fault. The pet store handed you a cage, a bag of seed, and a mirror and sent you home. Nobody sat you down and told you that the first 7 days decide whether this bird spends its life choosing you or hiding from you. And here's the thing most owners get exactly backwards, and it costs them months. What if I told you that the single most important thing you can do in the first 3 days is almost nothing at all? And that there's one small green tool probably already sitting in your seed mix that turns a terrified bird into one that closes the distance to your hand on its own. If you saw the thumbnail of this video, you saw the promise, bonded to you for life from week 1. Stay with me because I'm going to walk you through this day by day. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Ellie Wren, your neighborhood avian vet. Birds are prey animals, so they hide it when something's wrong. My whole job here is teaching you to see what your bird can't show you. And one promise before we start. If something ever sounds like an emergency, I'll say so plainly. That's a call to an avian vet, not a video. So let's drop the guilt at the door right now because you're carrying some already. Maybe he flinched when you slid the box out of the car. Maybe you already peeked in twice too many times. That's not damage. That's a person who cares, doing their best with no map. The reason nobody gave you a map is that the people who sold you this bird were selling a starter kit, not a relationship. But here's what's actually at stake this week, and I need you to take it seriously because it's the part nobody warns new owners about. A bird this size is a tiny engine that burns fuel incredibly fast. A stressed budgie that stops eating can be in real danger in a day and a half, not weeks, not let's see how he does. A day and a half. So week 1 isn't just about bonding. It's about keeping him alive while he learns you're safe. Grab a notebook because this is a master class and I'm going to give you a day-by-day plan you'll want to remember. We'll cover the first 72 hours, the quiet days that everyone gets wrong. We'll cover the food deadline that can turn a settling in bird into an emergency. And then, late in the week, the reason you're really here, the millet drill. Hour by hour, inch by inch, that makes a bird cross the cage to reach your hand. And at the very end, one signal from the wild that changes how you read your bird forever. If you've got another bird already at home, stay, because I'm going to start with you, and it's the one thing you cannot skip. Let's start with the households that already have a bird, because this is the one place a loving mistake can kill. 2 birds instead of building trust with one, you want to put the new cage right next to the old one, so they can meet. Every instinct says do that. Please don't. A brand new bird can be carrying illness and look absolutely perfect doing it. That's the Hawk Act, and I'll come back to it. So the new bird goes in a separate room with the door shut for at least 30 days. The rescues I trust run a full 6 weeks. Here's the order that matters. You care for your existing bird first every time, then wash your hands, then go to the new one. Some keepers even keep a smock by the door and change shirts between rooms. Because the danger travels on dust you can't see. The ones with names like psittacosis, which humans can catch too, it's not perfect. Most houses share the same air. But a shut door and clean hands is real protection, and it's the difference between one sick bird and a whole house of them. Now the bird itself. The first day home, whether he's your only bird or not, here's what a healthy, normal reaction looks like. And it's going to scare you. He'll sit frozen on one perch, he won't sing, he won't explore, he might not touch his food while you're watching. For the first 24 to 72 hours, that stillness is the bird doing it right. Cage placement helps him relax faster than anything you can do with your hands. Put the cage against an interior wall, not floating in the middle of a room, so he only has to watch one direction instead of spinning around guarding all of them. Chest height. In a room where the family actually lives, a couple of feet away from windows and radiators, and never, I mean never, the kitchen. A nonstick pan left too long on a hot stove puts out a fume that is invisible, odorless to you, and lethal to a bird in minutes. That's not caution. That's the single most common way I lose a healthy bird whose owner did everything else right. But here's where the just leave him be to settle in advice turns dangerous. And I need you to hear this. Yes, he needs quiet. But quiet does not mean unwatched. Remember that day and a half I mentioned? A little bird that isn't eating can go from stressed to critical in 36 to 48 hours. And this is the trap. A scared new bird will often only eat when you've left the room. So you look over, you never see him eat, and you panic. Or worse, you see him at the seed dish moving his beak and you relax, when he might just be shelling seeds and dropping them, not swallowing a thing. So you don't use your eyes on the bird, you use your eyes on the paper. This is the cage paper check, and it's the most important habit of your entire first week. I want you to line the bottom of the cage with plain paper, and every single morning, before anything else, walk over and read it. Are there droppings? Fresh ones, a good number of them. Droppings on that paper are proof, actual physical proof, that food went in one end and came out the other. If the number of droppings suddenly drops off, that usually means he's eating far less than you think, no matter what his beak is doing. That's your early warning, a full day before he'd ever look sick. 2 rules that keep him eating this week. 1, feed him the exact same food he was eating at the store or the breeder. This is not the week to upgrade his diet, no matter how bad that all-seed mix is. I'll die on that hill another day. A stressed bird will refuse unfamiliar food and starve beside a full bowl of the better stuff. 2, put the food where he can reach it without being brave. Plain white dishes, up near a perch. A lot of birds are too frightened to climb down to the cage floor to eat those first days. And if you've got a cockatiel, spray millet is your rescue food. Even a sick or terrified cockatiel will usually still nibble millet, and it's packed with calories. Here's your hard line, and it comes from the vet and me, not the trainer. If you've checked that paper and by around 48 hours, there's no real evidence he's eating, no droppings, no husks, that is not he's shy. That's the car ride. Close this video and call an avian vet. A bird that stopped eating does not have days. Let's talk about nights, because the second question every new owner has is whether to cover the cage. And here's a loving thing people do that can backfire. They wrap the whole cage in a heavy blackout cover to give him peace and quiet. It comes from a good place, but especially with cockatiels, total darkness sets up something frightening called a night fright. The bird startles awake in the pitch black, can't see, and thrashes against the bars and perches hard enough to hurt himself. He needs 10 to 12 hours of real sleep, yes. But the fix isn't a blackout. It's a low night light and at most a partial cover, a light sheet over the back and top only, leaving the front and sides open. He gets security, and he can see enough not to panic. If a night fright does happen, wings crashing in the dark, here's the anticlimax that saves birds. You do nothing dramatic, you don't yank the cover off, you don't grab him, you turn on a soft light, you talk low, and you let him find the perch again on his own. Grabbing a panicking bird in the dark is how the injuries happen. And now the myth I have to break, because the store sold it to you as a kindness, the mirror. It'll keep him company, they said. My friends, I need you to hear this. For a single budgie, that mirror can become a trap. He can lock onto his own reflection as a mate, court it, feed it, and shut you out entirely. The company you thought you were giving him is company that competes with you. This week, take the mirror out. You want to be the interesting thing in his world, not a piece of glass. Okay. If you saw the thumbnail of this video, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is the part that builds the bond for life, and it has a name, the millet handshake. And the reason it works is beautiful. Pulling seeds off a sprig is the deepest wiring in a bird's brain, foraging. Every seed he tugs loose gives him a tiny hit of reward, and if your still hand is holding that sprig, your hand gets the credit for the best feeling of his day. You're not taming him, you're becoming the source of good things. Here's the drill, and I want you writing this down. First, you don't start until he's ready, and readiness isn't a date on the calendar, it's his body. He's ready when he eats and drinks while you're in the room, sleeps with you nearby, and plays with a toy instead of watching your every move. For most birds, that's somewhere after those first few quiet days. Then you run short, boring, identical sessions, pull his food dish a couple hours before, so a little hunger works for you. Each session is about 4 minutes. 1 minute just talking softly to him before you even open the door, then 2 minutes holding a sprig of millet still inside the cage, then you say goodbye and withdraw the sprig, whether he touched it or not. That whether he touched it or not is the whole secret. You are proving your hand always leaves calmly. Space sessions at least half an hour apart, a few a day, and here's the part that turns it into magic. You move the millet farther away as the days go by, so he does the crossing. Day 1, you hold it about an inch from him. Easy, no reaching, and across the next days you step it out 2 inches, 3, 4, out to about 6 inches by day 5, then day 6, 7 inches. 7 inches means he has to leave his safe corner and travel the width of the cage on his own feet by his own choice to reach your hand. The day a bird crosses the cage to get to you is the day the bond flips. He's not tolerating you anymore, he's choosing you. 1 tripwire, because this fix has one too. Millet is the tool, not the diet. It's fatty, it's a treat. A bird living on millet is a bird heading for liver trouble. You use it for these sessions and then it goes away. Now that the millet has done its work, everything downstream gets easier. This is the harvest. Once he'll take millet from your fingers without flinching, you migrate that sprig onto your open flat palm, so to reach it, he has to rest a foot on your hand. Don't rush it. This alone can take several days, and that's normal. Then, and only then, you offer the same palm with no treat at all and let him step up because your hand has become a safe, familiar place, not because he's bribed. Taming can take weeks, sometimes months, but every one of those minutes is stacked on the memory you built this week. Hands are the thing that holds the good stuff and always leaves gently. Now, one quick thing and then I'll get right back to your bird. Almost every day, someone asks me where they can get all this in one place because nobody can remember 15 videos when their new bird is puffed up at midnight and won't touch his dish. So I finally wrote it down. It's called the Bird Bond and Health Bible. The Trust Ladder, the Safe and Deadly Food Lists, the emergency signs, the whole first week plan, every ritual I teach in the exam room in one guide you can keep right by the cage. Everything I know is in one place, and the link is just below this video. That's it. I won't bring it up again, I promise. Now back to the part most owners never hear about at all. Because here's the truth about the first week. No ritual replaces a set of trained eyes. Within the first week or two of bringing any bird home, that bird needs to see an avian vet. Not because he looks sick, but precisely because he won't. Remember, birds can be carrying and shedding illness while looking flawless. That exam is where a professional weighs him on a gram scale, runs a finger down every inch of him, checks the roof of his mouth and his vent, and tests for the things you and I simply cannot see. The diseases that pass silently, some of which can pass to your family too. I don't sell that exam. I'm telling you to go get it anyway because it's the one thing this week that catches what's hiding. And know your emergency line, cold. As an avian vet, I am begging you on this one. A bird sitting fluffed on the floor of the cage, a bird that stopped eating with no droppings on that paper, labored breathing with the tail pumping, that is never a let me search it tonight situation. Birds crash fast. That's a car ride to a vet. Right now, not a video. So look at what the week actually is, as one system. The quiet first day so he stops bracing for a hawk. The cage paper check every morning so you see him eating before you can see him sick. The same food he already trusts. The nightlight instead of the blackout. The mirror gone so you're the one he bonds to. And then the millet handshake, still hand, 4 minutes, inch by inch across the cage until the day he chooses to cross it. Every one of those is a small deposit into the same account. This human means safe. You don't have to do all of it tomorrow. Pick one. Just one. Maybe tonight it's only this. Line the cage floor with fresh paper before you go to bed so tomorrow morning you can read it. The fact that you're here in the first week learning to read a bird that can't tell you a thing, that means this bird landed in exactly the right home. And birds know. They choose the person who moves slowly and shows up every single day, and if you keep doing this, they will choose you. Here's what I want from you in the comments because I read them. First, a quick one, budgie or cockatiel. Tell me which one just came home. And second, I want the story on which day did your new bird first make a sound around you? A chirp, a chatter, anything. Because that first sound is him deciding you're part of the flock, and I want to read about your bird. If this helped, give it a like. It's not for me. It tells the algorithm to hand this to the next person standing over a silent box on their kitchen table, terrified they've already gotten it wrong. Tonight, offer your bird one sprig of millet from Dr. Ellie. If he's not ready to take it from your hand yet, just lay it on the perch and take one slow step back. That's not a failure. That's day one of the ladder. And that quiet little breathing you heard in the box in the first evening, by the end of this week, if you do the quiet days and the paper check and the still hand, that's the same bird taking a step across the cage towards you. Move slowly, trust your instincts, and I will see you in the very next video.